it did 3 things for my die. By the way, because there are so many die stations to our large coupler dies running in the 600 ton, and there's a lot of cavities in which the lubrication can stick to, and that can build up in. We had to build a die wash station just to clean those dies even before we start working on them. My die wash station right now is rusting.
It's not needed, huh?
What that did was, well, it was an unexpected thing. I didn't expect your product to clean my die as well, or to keep it clean. But this die was in the press for almost a week. Look at the condition of this thing. And quite literally, nobody put a rag to this die. We never touched it, and it ran for just over a week.
So with the oil-based product, you would have a thick, tacky, oily...
You see, there's our die wash station right here. That you rendered obsolete, by the way.
Is that my fault?
We haven't washed a die in a long time. You can see that. That stuff, man, it cleans the die. It prolongs my die buttons, especially the buttons, and the punches. Now, I don't know why it does that. Maybe friction reduction?
Yes.
Friction is the cause of a lot of things.
Yes.
And so I think if it reduces friction, it might. I don't know what it does.
Yes.
But I have not cleaned my dies. The tool makers in the tool room have no need to take the die to the die station anymore, resulting in saving a lot of, we have what they call indirect and direct labor. When somebody is washing or cleaning a die, that's indirect labor. It's not counted to production. Direct labor in a press room is very, very, very important. I can't stress that enough. Using this, what is it called?
The 3900 series?
Yeah. Using that, we eliminated a lot of the die wash. And we do wipe it with the rags, you know, but we don't have to take it to the die wash anymore. I've never washed any of the tools since I've been using it.
And the residue film that's left behind is more of a dry film, and it doesn't tend to attract dirt and debris, or from the air, dust, and it doesn't oxidize. And that's the problem with a lot of the oils, is as they set in the open air, they continue to oxidize, and then they form varnish.
Yes.
And that's very difficult to clean. The longer it sets, the more difficult it is to clean.
I showed you the other day I was spraying on some nitro cylinders.
Yes, yes.
And that's because the die design was not very good, and the stripper was so narrow and so long that it would flex.
Okay.
And that flexing caused it to hang up either this way or that way on the upstroke.
Okay.
So I don't know why, maybe out of desperation, I don't know. I put one of these lubrication systems, to both cylinders underneath the stripper.
So applying lubricant directly to
the springs,
spring.
The springs,
itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not well. We still had lubrication on the blank too.
Okay.
So
in addition,
running in the 400 ton now for the last 2 weeks. Not one hang up.
Previous products may have generated some of these metallic slivers or particulates coming off the...
We find that with some of our coated material.
Okay.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore.
We hand spraying that though, on our blanks. And he's running it now.
Okay.
The roof panels?
Yes.
Running it right now. You got to see that.
Okay. It'd be great. We can step out and take
We used to have a lot of, because they are slightly deep draw as well, and it's galvanized. And that galvanizing the slivers of the galvanized used to sliver off.
Yes.
And used to form a metallic galvanized paste.
Yes.
I tell you, that used to be so frustrating and not funny. Because every now and again, we have to go in there in the female rads, and they have to take a rag and wipe this paste out on the bottom, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
And he doesn't do that anymore. But it's running right now in the press room.
And that's by having that greater lubrication properties under heat and pressure, whether it's a punch or a form die, or you're not generating, you don't have that metal to metal contact where you're pulling these types of particulate and then generating this abrasive paste.
Yeah.
And the galvanneal isn't scraping off because you've got an interface layer that you're sliding on and not pulling that off, which is really could affect your final part. If it's meant to be
We had a lot of
galvanneal,
scrap.
it needs to be galvanneal.
We had a lot of scrap. There's splits, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But this has helped us too. I tell you what something that you haven't is our feed rate from our feeders. We had to be very careful on how we would apply the previous lubrication, because it would saturate the floor. And we've taken all that away now. It just does, it's just not there.
And the cleanliness of the floor and the appearance of your plant, has that helped you when you have visitors, and has that been a benefit?
It has been, but more than that, the safety factor.
I see.
When we had to have a lot of absorbent mats spread all over the floor, and whenever the operator would remove a hopper with scrap in it, or just walking around, the mats would fold up, and because there's several of them. And that used to be a trip hazard.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't use those mats anymore. In the press room, we wear leather, well, not me, but the operators, leather gloves.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that water-soluble oil, how many pairs of leather gloves they would go through in one shift? One operator? At least 3, maybe 4, maybe 5, depending on the operation that we're running, right?
Wow.
Right now, probably 1 pair shift. Sometimes not even. Because there's no oil on the pot.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Another savings.
Yeah, we don't go through nearly as half the amount of leather gloves that we do. But these are all things that we've come to expect now, so we don't, it's not a big deal for us anymore.
Right. Sure.
I found that I don't have to saturate the whole blank anymore. At one time I had to do this, and it would run off all over. I don't have to do that anymore. I just have to lubricate specific areas, and that's good enough. And even on the die as well. So.
Does that cause you to use a lot less product that way than
It
before?
causes me to use a lot. Yeah. I will use, if I have a delivery system that I can control more accurately, I'll use 50%. Now, I don't know if it's a good thing for you, but of less of what I'm using now.
If it's good for you, it's good for us.
Absolutely.
Because see, it spreads so fine.
It lays down and wets out.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Doesn't beat up and run off.
Mm-mm.
Right.
No, it spreads like, if I spray an area here, that area is being saturated, you know.
Right.
And it holds together a lot more in the forming process. Quite frankly, nobody expected what I'm talking about now to actually, for a lubrication in a freaking press room, to have the kind of benefits or the kind of results to, nobody expected that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And a lot of those things are they're just part of operating, cost of doing business, but it's a number that is often it's lumped in with the general operating costs.
Yes.
But as you see these things and you've been able to pull them out, I really appreciate your ability to spot those things and identify them as this is a cause effect, and there's a savings here. And now we can be moving on to other things to improve
Yeah.
the efficiency of our company.